Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never-ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing. Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 457 of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. You're going to like this episode, I think. It's nostalgic, but also helps us remember how innately smart we are, even as children we were. I'm just really grateful that you're here, and also that we get to be together twice a week, even if it's just for 10 minutes. I mean, we make the whole world a better place by making ourselves better. Sometimes people shy away from podcasts, though, because they're so long, and that's why it's good to share these episodes with the ones that you love and that you want to see happy, because they're a little bit shorter. Now, our happiness starts and ends right inside our own head. The circumstances of our life will always be a roller coaster. There is no getting around that for anyone. But peace can always be found inside our mind. It's always available. We just have to be able to access it. And that's what I try to help us with this podcast. Twice a week, 10 minutes at a time, help us access the peace that brings calm to the chaos. And everyone needs that. You never know what someone is going through, so be sure to share this if it's on your heart to do so. Okay, when you were a kid, did you ever have your sister or your brother or maybe a best friend say something mean to you, and instead of taking it to heart, you came back and said, "I'm rubber, you're glue, whatever you say bounces off me and sticks to you"? And with that statement, whatever name they called you or whatever mean thing they said that you didn't like, you were letting them know that it wasn't affecting you. In fact, it bounced off you and was stuck to them now like glue. It's very effective, if you remember. They would get so mad, and a lot of times they'd say, "No, I'm rubber," or some silly comeback like that. But they knew you'd already won. You'd won the day, because their mean words were not going to affect you because you wouldn't allow it. In fact, they only are now affecting them even more, because now they're stuck to them like glue. Have you ever really given that little saying some thought as an adult? I mean, we were pretty ahead of our time by using that. We were letting someone else know that their words can't affect us at all. In fact, their words affect them way more, because now they're stuck with them. Really genius. When did we stop doing that? Seems as adults we just take everything someone else says and we marinate in it, don't we? It's harder to let things bounce off. We allow things other people say or do, even if they're not directed at us. We allow to let them get all twisted up. For example, for me, so I like politics. I've talked about that before. It just interests me. I'm not sure if it's the drama or what, but I really am careful how often and what I allow in. But if I had to confess a vice, it would be that I like to read some politics here and there. So I heard something the other day from someone that I don't feel is really honest or has any integrity. It's a politician. And as I listened to what he was saying, I could feel myself getting so upset because I disagreed with him deeply. I was a little surprised at how I felt about it. And then I realized that I was allowing something that someone else was saying that I don't even know personally, and it makes no difference in my life at all what they say. I was allowing their words to affect me and affect my day. I've been really trying to rise above that. And this is why having politics as a vice is not a great idea, just FYI. Anyway, fortunately, I recognized what I was doing, and I turned that video off, not even finishing it. It bothered me that it bothered me. But it made me remember a story I recently read in Wayne Dyer's book. The book is called Spiritual Solution. And this is a story concerning Buddha, who was in the company of a fellow traveler who was testing this great teacher by insulting him and disparaging him and giving bitter responses to anything that Buddha had said. Every day for 3 days when the Buddha spoke, the traveler responded by calling him a fool and ridiculing him in some arrogant fashion. Finally, at the end of the third day, the traveler could no longer stand it. He asked, "How is it that you're able to be so loving and kind when all I've done for the past 3 days is dishonor and offend you? Each time I'm disobliging you, you respond in a loving manner. How is that even possible?" The Buddha just kind of calmly responded with a question of his own for the traveler. He asked, "If someone offers you a gift and you do not accept this gift, to whom does the gift belong?" This question provided the traveler with a new insight. Wayne Dyer goes on to say in the book that when someone offers you a gift of their insults and you refuse to accept them, they obviously still belong to the original giver. Why would you choose to be angry over something that belonged to someone else? It's a great question, and it had a profound effect on me when I read it. I took a screenshot and I highlighted it and read it several more times so that it really sunk in. I don't have to accept the opinions of others. As I grow and mature, I realize that someone else's opinion of me has more to do with them and their worldview than it does with me. Really think about that, because it applies to all of us in both directions. When you judge someone, it's because of your worldview, not theirs, and vice versa. It's often said the thing you despise in someone else is often the thing you struggle with personally, or maybe even the thing you don't like about yourself. I try to do this, though. When someone rubs me the wrong way, I wonder, is this something I don't like about myself, and so it bothers me about them too? Or I might ask myself, why is this bothering me so much? I get real curious about it. Usually I find that I feel like it attacks some idea I have, but if I'm confident in my idea, why would someone challenging that idea be a problem? It shouldn't, right? You see, each thought we have about someone else, what they're doing or saying, is more about us and less about that other person. Our thoughts about other people come from our worldview. So if you were raised with no money and you're around someone who was raised with money, then you have thoughts about that person like maybe, well, their life has been so easy, or they haven't had to work for what they have. Whereas if you'd been raised with money too, your thoughts about that person would be very different, wouldn't they? The way we were raised, the community we grew up in, and the experiences we've had, that all forms our thoughts. Now, of course, that can change once we become really intentional about our thoughts, but that's a constant work in progress, I know. So normally, if we see someone that's just like us, we generally kind of like them and want to be around them. But if we see someone who is really different, we might take a step back and judge them a little bit. Ask yourself, though, does that have anything to do with the other person? Or is that all in your head? My point here is the things other people say or do pertaining to you has nothing to do with you. It's all about their worldview. So why would you take it personally? A funny story as a side note to this episode, I was talking to my friend Lena about this actual episode when it was in its hatching stage. And I asked her if she ever used to say, I'm Teflon, you're glue, it bounces off me and it sticks to you. And she said, yeah, but we used to say rubber instead of Teflon. I laughed and I said, oh yeah, I actually think that's what it's supposed to be. But I had I have to use good grammar here, but anyway, I woke up at 4 one morning with the thought for this episode, and for some reason, I remembered that saying as Teflon instead of rubber. And I wonder if in a roundabout way, my inner guidance system was reminding me that we are all really very strong. And when we remember that we're strong, we don't allow the things that other people say or do to seep in and actually mean something about us when it doesn't. So just because someone tells us we're selfish or not that smart or we've changed or we're no fun or whatever other people have to say about us, it doesn't make it true unless we accept it. Those are gifts we do not have to accept. The adult in me encourages you to envision any words from a person that's saying something that's harming you or offending you or whatever. But envision those words wrapped in a package being offered to you and you politely refusing to accept it. How nice is that? Feels good, doesn't it? Now, the inner child in me wants you to tell him, I'm Teflon, you're glue, whatever you say bounces off me and sticks to you. But whatever works for you. And whatever works for your peace of mind. Whatever brings peace to the chaos of life for you. That's what I want. Because peace is always present, regardless of what's happening. It's only a thought away. So keep listening and keep sharing. My challenge to you this week is if someone says something or does something that challenges your peace, before you take offense, decide if it's something worth accepting or if it's something that you gracefully decline. When someone offers you a gift, it's still theirs unless you accept it. Share this with 3 people who are a gift in your life. I love you guys. I'll talk to you in a few days. Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together, and I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.